I do find this music relaxing. So, Pretzel coming through on that at least. See, now I feel like I got too much headroom. Also, I'm off center now. I feel like I was off center and then I fixed it and now I'm more off center. Wow, what about this? There's just zoom in. Then my shoulders are crowded. It saves chat history? Really? Oh, it does, doesn't it? I saw that on mine. I thought it was just mine because I'm the, you know, mod or whatever. Hello, Talion. Hello, Dogmatic Director. Hello, Times Ryan. How are you all doing? Wow. That conversation doesn't seem like it'll work. If we just pick up where we left off. Let me get the restream chat up. It might work today. We'll find out. I wish when I clicked on a thing... See, that's Twitch chat. I need... Restream chat. To my surprise, not close to Twitch chat. Chat frame, Restream chat, there it is. Let me put this next to Twitch chat. Oh gosh, where's Twitch chat? Well, I don't know where it went. Maybe that's why I didn't have them next to each other. They're apparently super far apart. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what I'm doing. How does someone stream? What's a live stream? What's an RPG? There's Twitch chat. Okay, it's right above doot.png. There we go. Doot.png being this guy here in the corner. V5-fo Fessy. Stupid React thing wasn't there. I tabbed out to do some work, came back, and there it is. Ah! Gotcha again! Hi, Deeps. Top of the afternoon to you. It did not allow that message through. Uh-oh, let me check. All right, what's your setting there? I don't have a pending message from you, Talion. I don't have a thing that's like comment withheld. Yeah, I don't have anything. Huh. Weird. It doesn't let you put it. Oh, probably because it won't let you do anything with a dot something that reads as a link or a like application, like .png. I assume that's why. It might be a link thing, yeah. Wow, 3 viewers on Kick, 2 followers on Kick. Skyrocketing. Who's this third person that's not who's watching me on Kick and isn't like, I know, established, I canonically like this person. Who's on here going, I don't know. Let me watch first. Because I don't know how they found me. I wonder if Restream Bot will allow it to pass to me through. Oh. Watch but not following criminal. I know. If you watch something, you have to follow it. Grr. Comment. It's really frustrating how like aggressive that stuff is, and that it honestly works. Though I'm not sure. I don't know if it's like legitimately beneficial. Like, does the ratio of... But it kind of does. Like, if you just have more people, you're more likely to get noticed by, like, algorithms and stuff. So, like, being that annoying ultimately does help you, but I don't know the ratio of it. It's very annoying. Oh, Ryan's on Kick now. Thanks. It doesn't give me any fun animation like Twitch does. Teams, it is perfectly fine. You do not need to follow on Kick and make an account. That's just an extra space. Like, if people want to, awesome. But it is not a like, oh yeah, I'm really trying to build my Kick audience. Like, no. Algorithm raiders. YouTube does that. I do. Well, YouTube, yeah, because if you, well, does YouTube, if you're not like a big time person, does it not even give you the in chat thing? I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anyone. I don't remember anyone following me live. I think you have to like be a certain standing before it'll even unlock that thing. Super weird. Okay. How do you spell censor? Like the... No. Smoke. No. Like the thing that like Vami Mommy uses in Dead by Daylight and like Catholics use in church. The censor. Hey, Rat Beach. Welcome to Kick. It doesn't know how to put white. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it puts... Is it censor? No, because that's like... Censor. Catholic. Censor. Censor. That's what I want. It's like 5 different sensors. I just want this one. Okay, so like clearly, censor that is a flail. We're gonna do I forgot it. Sensor plus flail. That's just like a gimme. So the goal today is to make up a bunch of stuff that are objects that you can then use as weapons. So like sensor, umbrella, oh, I can't hit enter. Shovel, lockpick. Slinky we already have one for. Ladder with 2 Ds. So we're gonna build this list out, and then we're gonna make a few items for it. So it's kind of like when we were doing the 2 weapons, where we're gonna have a different list that's just regular items that can also be a particular weapon. I think it'd be fun to have a censored sensor, where it's like a chain, and then like whatever's at the end of it is just always blurry to whoever's looking at it. And it's like gives you an advantage to hit because you can't quite place it in space because it's like blurry. It's like it's out of focus. I feel like that'd be funny. Censored sensor. I'm making that magic item for my players. It's not going to be in this. Displacer. Yeah. Kind of like a displacer beast, but with a sensor. That's also a flail. I do like how Kick handles replies. If you reply to reply, it shows you the replying second message instead of the first. Oh, nice. Okay, so this is our list of effects, and we're going to actually change this. Heals. Oh, you know what would be? I'm just on a pun mood today. The healing heals. So it would be high heals. Hang on, I gotta put that in this note too. Healing heals. High heals with syringes of healing potion in the heals. Well, actually, you know what? I am gonna add that, even though I have another thing. Healing heals. Besmirch! Flashing that catch. Twitch just shows you all the replies is like, oh yeah, I hate that. I'm with you on that, Italian. Alright, let me check out this Kofi. Dang it, Kofi. You keep logging me out. So I gotta log back in. So I can look at my thing. Hey, Besmirch. Besmirch. Thank you, Besmirch. No message? There's no message, but thank you. The message is kindness, I guess. And support. Thank you. I bought this shirt at a thrift. It has cool floral pattern. Can you even see this? I have a thing covering my camera. Hang on. So I can't see if you can see it. So like the sleeve. Oh, you can't see that. So like the sleeves have this. It's really nice. It's a big neck. I'm actually wearing a tank under it. And it has like a thing right here. And it's like a little drapey. It's fun. I like it. It's going to keep me cool in this heat. Really, in the heat, I shouldn't be wearing 2 shirts, but whatever. The moral of the story is, thanks, Besmirch. The message is that you're awesome and I want to support. Aw, well, thank you. That's very sweet of you. And very fiducially responsible, or fiducially kind, fiducially. I don't think that's a word. You can wear as many shirts as you can tolerate. Well, I did get the new AC in, so I could just freaking crank that sucker up to 11. I don't want to. I don't like having drastic temperature differences between inside and outside. Pile on, baby. Like, if it's 100 degrees outside, I don't want it to be like 60 inside or 70 inside, because I'm gonna die the moment I step outside. I want it to be cooler, I want to be a bit more comfortable, but like there's a certain degree threshold that I don't want to cross. I don't feel that way when it's cold. If it's like 0 outside, I don't want it to be below a thing. Remember when Drawfee did a fundraiser stream many moons ago, and Jacob wore 100 t-shirts? Oh my gosh, that sounds terrifying. And so hot. In like a heat way. Like, Jacob's a cutie, but I don't think he would look especially more hot in 100 t-shirts. That does sound fun, though. Dumb things like that. Sounds weighty? Yeah. Like, think about it. Like, let's say a t-shirt weighs a quarter of a pound? How much do t-shirts weigh? How much does a t-shirt weigh? Hang on. How much does a t-shirt weigh? Now, these have got to be some big shirts, because you got to fit them over each other. Average t-shirt weighs between 3 ounces and 7 ounces. Okay, and there's 16 ounces in a pound. So a t-shirt can be up to almost half a pound. Yeah, so you're putting on a quarter to a half a pound per shirt at 100 shirts. God, so much weight. They had Julia's mom, a paramedic, on hand to make sure he didn't die, and that's when Jacob met her as Julia's boyfriend. That's really funny and adorable. Those two are so cute. We'll call it 40 pounds of shirt. Let's call it 40 pounds of shirt. Is that entirely accurate? Don't care. We're going to say 40 pounds of shirt. That's so much. Also, that gives me a great idea. Clothing. You have a shirt that turns into a whip or something. I don't know. We'll roll it. Shoes. Let's do some obvious. We need some obvious tools. So like crowbar. Saw. What I think would be cool is a saw where the individual teeth or a small grouping of teeth can become something. Where it's like you have a saw and then like every 4 teeth can pop off and be a thing. I don't know what though. Like you take them off and be like, well, you know, actually a saw. What about a saw where the teeth can fall off and become caltrops? Would that work? Hey, mom, you see that guy wearing 100 shirts with the yogurt on his nose? Yeah, that's the guy I'm dating. That's funny. Maybe throwing knives. Yeah, that could work too. Like the teeth at the point. Yeah, so like if you have the saw's like this thick and the tooth is here, when you pull the tooth out, that means there's a throwing knife that's this big because it's the width of the saw plus the tooth. You pull it out and there's just like an empty space in it. Crowbar that can be used to summon crows. Oh my gosh. Attract animal. Crowbar that summons crows. I love it. So summonses? Am I going insane? Crowbar that summons crows, but it wants to make it summonses? Okay. I'm not the... Thank you, Talion. I'm not the only one who feels like... I'm glad I'm not feeling like I was having a stroke. Hey, yeah, Deeps. So a crowbar that summons crows. Light source, that's one. Go home, you're drunk. Alright, what do we got? Let's see. Grappling hook, that's an item. Blue! Die. How you doing? Did you set your autocorrect to Smeagol? We summons his crows, we do. I wish that was an option. That would be amazing. Okay, trip. I guess just rope. Is rope? That seems... Does that work? Does rope work? Like, it's 50 feet of rope. But also... I don't know, 20 feet of rope? 25 feet? Let's do 25 feet. It's like, but it's also... Because like a whip. Would a whip count? Like, I have a whip. I have a 6-foot-long whip. It's also 6 foot of rope when I need it. Well, I guess the handle isn't rope, though. You can do some cool shit with a rope. You can do some awesome shit with a rope. Also, Kung Fu movies have taught me you can do great things with a jacket. Blue says, I would say that Jesse is the most friendly of the Escapist team. Aw, followed by Frost. And polar opposite of Goodman Croshaw. As someone who has met Yahtzee in person and hung out with him for 10 days, his online demeanor is definitely noticeably different than like his in-person demeanor, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like where he has like a performative thing like even I do, like that's just what you do, like you're performing and then you in a house together and you're just talking with someone, and like you see how that plays into his natural like kind of curmudgeoniness, but that he is more like jovial, friendly, and like how that doesn't change completely, like it's still clearly him, but how it kind of skews a little bit when it's, you know, him relaxed versus him performing, if that makes sense. But also, thanks for saying I'm the friendliest. I try. Also, Frost, very friendly from my experience. So to beat Frost in the friendly game, oh man. That's high praise. So Jesse and Mario pitched battle for friendliness. Oh no, now Marty and I, do we need to have some sort of friendly fight? Like how do you combat two people to see who's the friendliest? So it can't be like a strength of test. Do we just like, do we both go to a restaurant and whoever like holds the door for the other one longest? Is that our... That's more of a test of patience. And then even then, you could be like, oh, I'm holding the door for you. It's like, well, I'm holding the door for you. It's like, well, I can't budge. I gotta be the more friendly one. But then you're like, I know how hungry you are, and I know that by standing here and not eating, you are suffering. So I will take initiative to go in to make sure that we don't stand here forever and that you can go eat. Like, how do you do that? A rip is A whip is also a rope, yeah. I mean, like, but like, could you do like, it's a rope and also a dagger? I guess there could be a dagger hidden in it or something. We could make that work. Sure, Yahtzee, as I see you. I mean, he didn't have to be. But he was. Hey, Paul. Hello to you. Guys, where Jovial was it? Yeah, and like, it's not completely different. Like, he still has this, like, a lot of the same general vibes, but like, just more relaxed. Like, there's an element of just like, I don't know. Not everything has to be like a deep thought or a quip kind of a thing. Like, if he knows he's not being judged by his performance, he could be more relaxed. That makes sense? I don't know if it works. Marty will win. He has the best quips. I swear, he does have good quips. I would like to be on Marty's game with quips. Sometimes I get those $2 jokes, but like, I wish I got them more. Like, I want to be up there with them. Not like literally more people gave money. I mean, like just making good jokes all the time. Whoever Venmos me $100 first wins the friendliest competition. That's gonna be Marty. He has a full-time job, so he can have that sort of expenses. So I guess he wins that front. Favorite kind of jobs are the ones where I like my coworkers. Oh yeah, that's easily. Like, I've had good jobs with coworkers I didn't like and quit because like it's just terrible. Like, all your time is not fun. Like, it's just so soul-sucking that even though the work isn't bad, you just hate every second of it. So it's rough. Meanwhile, I've had jobs that don't pay as well, and I love the people I work with, and it is very hard to stop doing it because why would you want to not be around these people? So yeah, if you like your coworkers, it's such an amazing thing. Or if you don't have coworkers, I am also a big fan of working independently and like working like, oh, I gotta get in touch with someone. Okay, I've done what I needed with them, and then you go back to whatever you were doing. It's nice. It's very nice. I like some of my coworkers, yeah. It's hard to like them all. Like, I never... I don't think I've ever worked anywhere where I like everybody I work with. Like, it's just not... that's statistically improbable. A good time is to think about how would you implement magic in a world like in my game. I've been thinking about omitting magic systems where you can just learn magic. Ooh, okay, so, like, for real, talk about this for a second. Or longer, I don't know. What is it about learned magic do you not like? Do you want it to be a limited resource? Like, Avatar, Last Airbender, where it's like you're born with the ability to bend, or you don't? Or is it, like class driven, like you have to have the connections and funds? It's like a capitalistic society of magic. Only the top 1% have the funds and connections to have the resources and everything available to learn it. Because there are so many ways to do magic. I'm curious why, like, what you're thinking of, and also why you want it to be. What is it that's making you want it to not be learnable? Or is it like, it's like if our world itself has no magic, but if you get in touch with a creature in another dimension, they can bestow some of their natural power on you, which to us appears to be magic. Rapid says, I like my immediate coworkers. Beyond that, it gets dicey. The immediate coworkers are probably the most important. Like when you have your like daily work with them people. I left my nail clippers out here. Oops. That's super important. Because you're interacting with them so much. It is nice when you have like different coworkers that you also like. And it's rough when you have one boss that you really don't get along with. I had one job that I unfortunately had to quit because of one boss. She was an absolute nightmare. Did not like me. I am not sure why, but like very clearly didn't like me, didn't train me, and then was upset when I did things wrong. And then when I talked to the other people about it, they were like, why was she making you do this? Like, you haven't been trained in that. And I was like, I'm aware. So I ended up quitting that job. Not the most fun job. But I was definitely willing to do it because pay. And then it was like, that company was a disaster. What makes magic magical? Like, if you treat it like science, does it stop being magical or whimsical? I think no. I feel like just because, it's like learning, like, think about it in terms of, like, magic tricks. Like, pick a card, do a thing. I put my hand through glass, grab a watch on the other side, and pull it back. There's no real magic involved. That it is some sort of trick. But it is still impressive that someone learned how to do that. I feel more that way about like magic and magic systems, where it's like, I make fire and poof, I teleport, pow. Like, okay, that is a skill that you can learn, but it is something that takes so much dedication and effort that it is impressive that you are doing it, and it is something that I can look at and cannot replicate or understand necessarily how to do it. So like, it's the same thing. Can I use, Excel? This is Word, but whatever. Can I use Excel? Absolutely, I can use Excel. But can I be impressed by people that do way the heck more in Excel than I do? Absolutely. It is very magical to me. So I feel like the fact that it is achievable doesn't remove the impressiveness or the magic or the whimsy of it. It's just the amount of work required to get there. I also have people roll a d20 and see if I like them that day. I don't think I would like anyone who doesn't vibe with you. Aw. Thanks. I bet, I don't know. I'm sure there are people that I drive crazy who are perfectly fine people. I had a friend where I used to live, and she was like the opposite of me. She was like very like, I'm going to plan stuff out. I'm going to do this thing. Like, she was super collected and like very pragmatic and straightforward. And I loved hanging out with her because she was so different than me. And like, we kind of irritated each other a little bit in different ways, but it was like, it's just, we're so different. She was fun to hang out with. See, like most people at my company, I have one really shitty coworker on my team, though I hate that. Yeah, that does stink. Whimsy based on how you use it more than how it works, says Talion, and I agree very much. Kind of like magic tricks, where you have, the spectacle of it. If you just go, oh, whoa, I made it appear and disappear. Impressive. It's like, No, it's not. Like, it's the performance that makes it whimsical. Not much to do when a boss decides they don't like you. It's real tough. Hey, Discordia, how are you doing? Excel, my beloved. Yeah, you're probably one of those people that very much impressed me. Paul says, I mean, think of perspective of a child. What of those who are inexperienced with the world? To them, it's the most fantastical thing. So how could I translate that into my world? That is very difficult because you're dealing with human players who have expectations and have... You're playing RPGs. You're dealing with nerds. You're dealing with people that have read Magic School, the book series, and Leech Wizard Dragon Show, and watch that, and Chronicles of whatever, and the Lords of the everything. Like, there's so much of that they are pulling from that it is hard to give that sort of childlike wonder because they've seen so much. I would say probably the best way to do, or not the best way, but a way to do that is, one, trying to accomplish it in a way that hasn't been done before. So, like, people love Full Metal Alchemist. And you could just easily hand wave that as magic. And be like, oh, the thing in this, wow, look at that, ooh, it's a thing. But it's not, it's alchemy. It is the art of equivalent exchange. You have to destroy something of equal or greater value to create something. So, like, that all of a sudden changes. You're not just creating this radio. You are using all of these elements and parts in order to craft this thing. So now you have a specific thing. Every single time that if you're playing a game, they know this is how alchemy works, how magic works. It's the art of equivalent exchange. Every time they see something, they will be thinking, well, what was used to create this? What was sacrificed? What was lost to gain this? So now you have, like, and especially if it's like a big display, like, someone tears apart a building to, it's like, or like builds a building, like what has been removed to do that. So giving it a specific element that players can bite into and get a grounding of. So, like, again, Avatar: The Last Airbender, you have the elemental bending as you have these specific things that you can get into. Fire, bend fire. You'd be like, whoa, it's fire, whoosh. But then you can't necessarily control all of the fire after that. Like, that's a huge thing with, like, Aang burns, I think, Katara, and he's like scared to use fire. Like the limitations of it. You have the earthbenders who are put on a metal island so they can't use their powers, like, because it has to be the earth, where it's like Toph can't bend sand initially really well because it's earth, but it's so far removed from the solid earthy matter she's used to. So, like, focus on those particular things and play into them. I think that helps it, because then you could be more impressed when something happens. So, like, when, again, okay, water bending in that, it's like, oh, you bend water and you do a thing, ooh, that's cool. But then, Katara learns about blood bending. It's like, well, it's a lot of water in the human body. Full moon, baby, I can freaking suck the blood out of you. Whoop. Like, now you have something that has given that sense of, like, wonder and, like, whoa, wow factor because you're playing within the system's limitations you've created. Does that make sense? Is that a bad idea? Deep says, can still provide the that magic feeling as a result of sufficient fun and impressive. Also true. Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah, I love having friends who plan stuff. I never plan stuff. So I get to ride their coattails. Isn't it great? You have a future in marketing. Wait, me or someone else, Discordia? Because if I have a future in marketing, just tell me who's hiring. I'll go there. That was also like 4 minutes ago, and I have no idea what I said for you to say that. Just use 5e structure as an example. I'd say sorcerers naturally give a more fluid sense of magic because they just have magic instead of studying it. Yeah, which that's, for all my gripes about 5e, I do like not the execution, but I like the idea of how magic works. So you have a sorcerer that gets it from a magical bloodline, magic actually being in them. You have wizards, which study it. You have warlocks, which make a pact with someone more powerful and get magic from them. You have clerics and paladins, which are similar to warlocks, where they're connecting with something bigger than them to get magic. Druids, they just like the earth. I don't know why druids have magic. Like, they're just there. Why do they have magic? They're just good with nature. Nature's not really magical, though. Why do they have magic? Never thought about that. Paul, I guess that's a good idea. Just reframe magic with a personal system. So what are you thinking with it? Because you could very easily have it be the system of like, well, you have to be born with it, and then players could choose to be born with it or not. Italian says, I do agree that unique mechanics would give that air of discovery, even in an established system. Yeah, because you want, another thing about magic is like, you see it, exactly your point, Italian. You've seen Lord of the Rings, you've seen all sorts of wizard stuff. You have an expectation, and you just want to go, well, I want to do that. I just want to shoot fireball out of my wand. But having them understand, okay, well, how can I do that? What particular things do I need to know and do to get there in this system? Tally says you don't need to completely reframe it, just add unique context to spells or unique limitations, special effects. Yeah. I think that's another thing that like is good in theory but not execution. In D&D, the not the thematic, I almost said the thematic components, the verbal, material, and somatic components of a spell. What a great idea. That is completely underutilized. First of all, it's just, can you speak? Boom, somatic components achieved. Can you move? Boom. Oh wait, no, that's verbal components. Somatic, can you move? Boom, verbal components achieved. I have never played a game where anybody gives a rat's rear end about material components. It is such a pain. If it mattered for like, I need the Eye of Newt to cast Bring Down the Sky, all right, sure, that's worth it. But it's like, oh, I need it for this like level 1 spell that does as much damage as my freaking beefcake of a friend who swings a club. That's stupid. Like, it's not tied into stuff. If it was thematically and mechanically tied into other things, it would make sense that you're like pulling apart monsters. Kind of like at The Witcher, where it's like you need these parts, but it's not part of it. Paul says, yeah, I understand. I wouldn't want to treat it just like science. I guess my point. Yeah. If you wanted to make it not like science, you could also tie magic to emotion. Like, if you understand how to conjure fire, but fire only gets conjured through anger. So it does not matter how much you understand the scientific components of I move my hand this way, I say these words, and I look east or whatever you have to do for it. If you have to be angry to do it, you have to tie it to an emotion. You have to get in that headspace. You know, if you have to get like calmness with causing earth magic or something, or like love and a feeling of caring or compassion for wind magic, or however you want to do it, like, then it does not matter what the science is. There is something deeply personal to this spell that you have to put into it, or it literally doesn't work. That's another thing you might be able to do. Nature is magical in like a Shinto, everything has a spirit way. Yeah, that could work. Everything has a spirit. Okay. I think druids learn tap into that latent magic nature. Like looking at a double rainbow is a spell that causes confusion and crying. All right, that I started off a little waffly on this, and then at the end, you sold me on it, Rat Beach. Okay, I get it. I'm with you on it now. Discordia says it was when you were throwing a lot of generic names for IP involving magic in some way. Thank you, Discordia. I feel deeply hurt by that, but it's also very funny. And I appreciate it and like it a lot. Maybe I'll focus on material too. Yeah, like if you could tie material to it. Like you need blood of a reptile monster to do these spells. Suddenly, if you fight a reptile monster, you have an invested interest in like getting some blood. Like make it matter. Like it doesn't matter in so many games. It's a shame. Deep says, yeah, every game I've ever played, material components were only used balancing mechanic with more powerful spells. Yeah, if it's like a super powerful spell, but everything else, no. Rabbit says, oh yeah, even our old rules lawyer DM only cared about spell components worth over like 100 gold. Otherwise, you could use a focus, not even start within the game to cast. Yep. Although I do like the idea of contextual components like that. Yeah, I really like, and so like that's one of the things I want to do is like Lexicon having a spellcaster that uses things to better the spell. So having like material component as a quality, and it's like, oh, I need to cast a spell that's based, it's like watery magic. I'm gonna boil water. I'm gonna make water come up. Like, oh, okay, I have the blood of an enemy that I have kept, and that is liquid. So now I will use that as a component for my spell to empower this one. Oh, I need to, I'm going to make a barrier of bones. I'm going to pull the teeth of a monster I once fought and conjure, and use that in my thing to conjure these like towers of teeth that will block this doorway for us. Like having that, the material you're using directly relate to the thing you're doing and empowering it. Paul says, brilliant idea. That was 3 minutes ago. So maybe it was about the tying emotions to it, so it won't work like science. That would be my best guess at what I was talking about. Although I do like the contextual components like that, because then you aren't absolutely screwed if you don't literally have special material in battle. Yeah. And also like the idea of having those components as a buff. So like, can you conjure fire and shoot it at someone? Yes. Would it be more powerful if you pulled fire from a lit candle and then, imbued that and shot it at someone? Yes. So it's like it's a way to use the things you have to improve what you're doing and not necessarily be the only way you can do it. Another way to do it. Do you think that requirements too complicated would really bog down magic. If there's a spell I can cast all the time, I don't want to have to go. I turn in a circle 5 times, drink the blood of a sea turtle, then throw salt over my shoulder and jump south every time. See, that's the thing. I feel like I like that. That you have to have the blood of a sea turtle, so you're going to have your stock supply. You're going to have your salt. You're going to have your compass, so you always know which direction, just in case you're underground or something. And you got to jump south. So what you have done is created multiple steps in somatic components. And having, like, things that you have to know. You have to know where south is. You have to have enough room to jump south. So, like, you couldn't do it in a tight corridor. So you're actually placing some really neat limitations on yourself, and that make magic a little more fun because of that. You do not have to say that every time. Like, all right, I turn a circle. As long as you have the ability to spin, you have the ability to jump, you have the ability, you know where south is, and you have your salt and your turtle blood, you could do the spell. You don't have to say it every time. But that adds a lot of fun things. What if enemy did something and you're dizzy? So spinning in circles 5 times and then jumping in the correct direction might actually be quite a bit more difficult because you were dizzy before you even started. Let's see. So yeah, I actually like those kind of complicated things, but it also depends. If you're playing it 100% depends on the type of game you're playing. Because if you're playing the power fantasy, like classic D&D style thing, no, it doesn't work because it's built on, the mechanics of the game are built on, you could always cast your spell. And if you can't, that means something wild has happened. It shouldn't be that sort of a mundane thing that can stop you from doing it. Versus something that's a little more freeform, a little more open, a little more like, oh, you could have unexpected challenges. Then you're in a space where that sort of magical interaction works better. Because it's not a power fantasy, and the game is not built on expecting you to be able to do it all the time. So kind of like it's not creature level, threat level, whatever it's called in D&D, where when something is a threat level 1, it's kind of a pushover. Something that's a threat level 10, challenge rating, I think is what it's called, is way higher because at level 10, it's expecting you to have a suite of magical items when you face it. So like the game is literally geared towards that and is reflected in it. All right. You could have a base level spell that works just fine. And you could also add components that you may have to make it stronger. Yes, I'm stealing ideas from Breath of the Wild potion making. Yeah, absolutely. I like that idea a lot, Rat Beach. Where you have like your base spell is, you know, conjure water. Okay. And then you have your, oh, well, I can, you know, make it boiling water. Now I have something that's like closer to it. I can change the properties and now it's acidic. Now I can do this and like make it more fine and like do a little like articulated rather than just being like a splash of water. Like, oh, maybe I can turn it into a stream or something. All right, let me add this. Can I freeze the water? Can I articulate it and then freeze it and maybe make something like a key? So you can make like some water and then make a bunch of little teeth coming out of it and then freeze it and now you have a key. Yeah, I really like the idea of having a base magic and then building off of it. Paul says, I'm a dedicated role player, so in my game, I would expect my players to be okay with repeating things. Talking to Talian's point earlier, I believe. Are you familiar with how magic works in Changeling the Lost, says Discordia. I am not. Is it similar to how it works in Mage the Ascension? Where you have the, I believe, 9 spheres of magic? And your total dedication to a sphere or to multiple spheres determines what you can do within what spells you can cast using those things. So, like, if you have Material Sphere, I think Material Sphere 1 is you can change, or you can understand properties. The Material Sphere 2 is, like, you can start building simple things. So you can, like, conjure water, fire, earth at, like, 3 dedication to Material Sphere. You can start building more complicated things like steel or slight mechanisms like a door. And then at 4 you could like start doing like simple machinery, and at 5 I think you could build like you know, like just be like, boom, a working cannon, boom, a working Gatling gun with ammo. Like, you are able to create matter. That is, I love the magic system in Lost. Nope. Oh, okay. Well, you learn contracts with multiple clauses. Ooh, that sounds awesome. I do not know how that works, but that sounds cool. Talia says, I could definitely see the merit of you can cast this spell all the time, but you can modify its effects with different components. I'm still not on board with overcomplicated spell casting, because then everyone would just go to a class that could always hit people with a big stick. I disagree. If the complication is enjoyable, because I'll still go to it. Because I don't like hitting things with a big stick. I generally don't find that fun. So even if it's a little more complicated, I enjoy that weird nuance. But if you make it more complicated, you are going to turn some people off. And those go, well, why would I do that when I just hit things with a big stick? And that's fair. They might just want to hit things with a big stick. But then there's people like me who don't want to hit things with a big stick and will sometimes use magic classes and magic abilities that aren't as good and that, like, just mechanically are worse. But I just don't want to be like, I roll to attack, I hit, okay, 4 damage. So I will purposefully seek out these other things. So I kind of like some of that overly complicated magic stuff to an extent, as long as it is fun, it is well implemented, and it's rewarding. I'm also the kind of person that just likes those sort of extra steps. Discordia continuing about magic in Changeling. They run on glamour, a limited but renewable resource acquired from humans experiencing intense emotions. Ooh. By performing certain actions, like the ones you suggested earlier, you can circumvent the costs. These are referred to as catches. Critical success can lead to additional and improved effects. Oh, that's super cool. I like the way that works. That sounds like it would work really, really well. And be a lot of fun. That's the sort of stuff that I enjoy. I like that way better than a class list of spells. It's like, oh, you can cast jump. Like, jump's a good spell, but like, I really had a fun idea that doesn't fit the spell list I'm given. And so I have to change my idea, and I don't get to do these fun things. Paul says, I won't make the spell to do too complicated because I'm not a stubborn creator. I won't make the spell to do... I guess it's supposed to be too complicated. I put myself in the shoes of a player because I'm also a player. Yeah. So it's really such a mechanical thing. Like, you just need to make sure a thing has a level of enjoyment attached to it or a level of reward attached to it. So you have... I don't know if I can break this down properly. I think I'll just leave it at that. Gotta have a level of reward. And or enjoyment. Both are great. But you gotta have at least one. Because if something is not necessarily enjoyable, but it's rewarding, I may do it. If something is fun, but not rewarding, I still might do it. But if it's not fun or rewarding, it's just like basically like doing the taxes. I guess technically doing taxes is rewarding because then you don't go to prison or whatever. But like, I don't know. As long as it's not mundane. Like, is brushing my teeth rewarding? Absolutely it is. I get to have fresh breath. I get to keep most of my teeth. Like, I get to talk to others and not have them turn away. It is rewarding. Is the act any fun? No. Is it directly rewarding? No. But it's good. It's good to do. Brush your teeth. I think rewarding is the better word to use because we all do things that we may not enjoy, but the payoff can be great. Yeah. Again, brush your teeth. The payoff is worth the effort. Do I ever have a good time? I've never had such a fun time brushing my teeth. Okay, I take that back. When I haven't brushed, like if there has been a circumstance where it's like I'm on the road all day and I've eaten like 3 meals out and I finally get home and I like put an electric toothbrush in my mouth and just like clean away freaking like 14 hours of like of food and drink and road grime and like dust from the beach or whatever. Oh, okay, that is satisfying. That's good. That happens extremely rarely. Most of the time, I use a toothbrush and I'm like, this is good. I don't... Nothing special. Well, we're just different players, LOL. If I have to jump through a bunch of hoops to use any magic, I just won't do it, says Talion. Totally fine. I like... Yeah, I think it is, because I do like those sorts of things. I don't like too many hoops, and I don't like the hoops if the hoops aren't fun. But I do like a weird sort of extra step. I don't know. I feel very called out when I was talking with Casey during the Beast stream, and I was saying that I like yard work. I like mowing the lawn more than vacuuming because like mowing the lawn is harder, and so I feel better about it when I'm done. And he was like, "So you just like have to suffer in order to feel accomplishment?" And I have never been called out so hard in my life, and I've been thinking about that for like 4 weeks now, and how uncomfortably accurate that was. So I think in that vein, I do kind of like those extra steps. And also I like them because usually they come along with like extra abilities that you can do. So like if you have, big sword, hit with big sword, and that's all you can do. And that's fine. You hit with big sword. But like you have magic, and then you have like 3 steps to go through. If the system is done well, or in a certain way that I like, those steps you have to go through broadens what you can do. So while I could always hit with my sword, that's all I can do. But I can hit something with magic. I can create a barrier with magic. I can aid somebody with magic. Now, because I have those extra steps, I have extra options. And utility is like the greatest thing I can have in a game. I love utility. The more things I can do with a thing, the more excited I am. So that's one of the reasons I seek out things with those extra steps, because they will often give me the ability to do more. And I want to do more all the time. Just Eddie, I have a terrible habit of overcommitting to things because I just want to do all the things all the time. Ratbeach says, I don't mind steps as long as I'm not just shit out of luck if I'm caught without a specific item and no way to get that item in time. Absolutely. Like, if you have, well, you can't cast magic unless you have your magical ability, and then you lose it somehow. But the fighter, the big beefcake, is like, oh no, I lost my sword. Hey, all my muscles are still here, and I have a fist. And it's like, okay, well, you know, they still get to do a thing. Can I do something? It's like, no. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ratbeach. There's gotta be, like, I think the utility also makes me happier for that reason. But, like, there's gotta be a thing that I can do. If you just are SOL, so out of luck. That's what it stands for. That's not fun. Italian says the more hoops there are to jump through, the worse it would be for combat, but the better it would be for out of combat for utility. Not necessarily. If you have to, if it's like a hoop, how are the hoops designed? If the hoops are all in a straight line, then yes, they probably are a little more complicated and are going to bog down combat a bit more because you have to go through each one in succession. However, if the hoops are set up rather than 3 hoops in a row, there's a hoop here, a hoop here, a hoop here, and you're choosing which one to jump through, and that determines the outcome or what you are attempting to do, then that's not going to bog down combat. You still have the same number of hoops, but because they're structured differently, you are now just as free-flowing and fluid as a melee character or anybody else. Does that make sense? Because you're right, it can bog it down, but it really depends on how it's built. Maybe I'm just a mage hater and try to find a way to handicap them. Why you hating on mages? Why you hate on my favorite class? What I love is that magic. Mostly because of that utility again. Discordia says contracts offer a lot of utility. The catches, hoops, let you do things without paying the resource cost. Ooh, I like that. But also, Paul, you might just be a mage hater. I'm sorry. Don't hate the mages. We just want to do silly things. Italian says, what you were saying makes sense, but it sounds like a nigh impossible thing to balance properly. Even far simpler magic systems can get horribly unbalanced. I would argue it is definitely not nigh impossible. I have played games that have a much more complicated magic system and have a lot of hoops and work just fine. Mage the Ascension being a great one. That has way more hoops and way more complications than something like Pathfinder or D&D. But combat is not any slower because of how you can use it. And the scope of what you can do is still, like, relatively structured. And when compared to all the other things within that system, where your vampires and your hunters and your werewolves and your changelings, you are not completely overpowered because you can do these things. Except werewolves. Werewolves might be overpowered. But the other people aren't too bad. So I would say it is not nigh impossible. It takes work, it takes effort, and it takes, you know, the more sort of fluidity and imagination you have within your magic system is going to complicate it even more. But that's what good game design is there to balance. If you don't have that, then it doesn't matter if your game is just about hitting a goblin with a stick, and that's the only thing you can do. If you have poor game design, that's going to become broken or complicated or whatever. So designing it properly will help. But it's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be hard. That's not like a, oh, just do it the easy way and it'll work. And if it works easily, it's good. No, it's still very difficult. Like balancing all sorts of stuff, especially in things that don't have direct equivalence. So like even in, if we're just talking melee combat, well, you have things like damage. This weapon does 2 damage. This weapon does 4 damage. Okay. The 4 damage weapon is arguably better than the 2 damage weapon. Does more damage. Okay, but the 4 damage weapon is 2-handed. So you have a completely all of your limbs are dedicated when you do this. Your feet have to be on the ground, 2 hands on the weapon. You're doing more damage, but you are very dedicated. Whereas okay, well, I've got this 2-handed damage weapon in one hand, and I can do something else with this other hand. I could chug a potion. I could throw something. I can grab a chandelier. So now you have, okay, you have some give and take. What makes it worth it is possibly how you utilize those 2 things. Like the 2-handed weapon versus the 1-handed weapon that does less damage. How you're utilizing that free hand and how it plays into what you want to do and your other abilities is going to really matter. And then you have things like, okay, reach. This weapon reaches further. How many points of goodness, if it does that, take up? You have 2 weapons that do 4 damage each. This one has reach. Okay, so that one's arguably better. But this one has, the one that doesn't have reach has, I don't know, trip or something. Like, oh, okay, so now you have another, they each have a thing that you can do. Are those equivalents? Is trip and reach 1 for 1? Technically, no. Like, they're circumstantial. They matter to how you want to use the thing. So in balancing anything, you're going to come up with a lot of those things that don't perfectly align. And it's going to take a lot of game design work to make it so they feel like they align. Because you're not going to get everything perfectly balanced. That's just basically impossible. But you can get things to feel fair and feel good and feel rewarding. It's not a matter of I deal as much damage with my character as another character that makes me feel rewarded. It's that I am able to cleverly do something that aids the party and gets us into a better scenario with my abilities. That makes me feel rewarded. So, like, you're not always dealing with these 1-to-1 ratios. Now I gotta catch up on chat. Discordia says, do you want to spend hours cleaning a fountain to get a water elemental to spy on your enemies for you? Or do you want to dump a lot of glamour in the contract to just make it happen? Yeah, I love those sort of give and takes. God, you make me want to play Changeling a lot, Discordia. Every time you talk about it. Paul says, I just don't like how magic is freely utilized. So, in my scenario that I'm playing, you as a player are standard. Magic is a key that fits all that I do not appreciate. Yeah. Okay. So, like, oh, it says mechanics don't have to be so absurd, like expensive item, or in the moment feeling, but they shouldn't be so easily fix your problems. These are my beliefs, though, so respect your opinion. No, I agree with you. If magic is a fix-all, then I also feel like that's kind of doing it wrong. But I feel like that for everything. If your strength is, like, the door's locked, I kick it open because I'm real strong. Oh, well, you circumvented that. This person has information, and they They won't give it to me. I beat it out of them. All right, you're using strength to overcome this thing. All right. They either give you the information or you beat them to death, I guess. All right. Like, if the solution should have more finesse than that. So I feel like while Magic often gets positioned in that way, and gets positioned in that way because it's not properly implemented, and that it is used as sort of a, you could do anything without consequence, and possibly without effort, then yeah, that's absolutely going to be a problem. So I was going somewhere directly with this, and then I lost my train of thought, and now I don't know where I was going. But yes, Magic should not be the win button, as it often is. But nothing should, as it sometimes is. All right, now I gotta catch up on chat. Telling says, I guess I just don't have the confidence in any creator to care and put into the work to make sure the system is done well. It's not just economical. Magic in this economy, says Rampage. I would say, as a game designer, ouch. I hope mine does. But yeah, like I feel like there are games that do it well. I hope Lexicon is one, but you know. I feel like there are games that do it well. But it takes a lot of work, and there are a lot of games that don't put in that work. And I feel like one of the games that doesn't put in that work is one of the most popular RPGs, so it's very easy to see that one and go, this doesn't work like I want it to. Cough, cough. Thing I always harp on. Talon says, replying to Rampage. Oh yeah, but really, why would you add months or years to writing, balancing, and playtesting a complicated Magic system when you could basically do the same system in far less time by removing all the fiddly little details? But it's those fiddly little details that make the game. Like, if you just have, if you don't have the fiddly little details, you could just be like, okay, we're playing a game. We're playing an RPG. You don't need a die, you just need a coin. Heads, you succeed. Tails, you fail. There we go, we've got a game. Like, if you strip it down, and that's like an extreme example, but like as you strip it down and you remove variability, you remove some of the fun, you remove some of the chaos, you remove a lot of things that make it unpredictable and give you the ability to interact with it. So I feel like it's those details that make the game. Like, hang on, I'm gonna get an example. Use a board game or a card game. All right, so like red flags. Bring back Musk, good sex. I don't know why we're talking about Musk, good sex, but I agree. Bring back Musk, good sex. Okay, so you're playing red flags. So you have like those variabilities, like the cards have no point value. Like each card is worth 1 point, but each individual answer card isn't worth something different. It's based on how the person who's the judge is going to perceive your card, how you're going to pitch your card, how someone else is going to point out a flaw in your card. And Red Flags, sorry, is a card game that's like kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but you're putting someone on a date. And it's a really fun party game. Everybody is trying to build a date with some like cards in their hand, and they all have like, they have two really great qualities. It's like are a billionaire and like can get you into any concert in the world. It's like the two good things. But then everybody plays a red flag on another person. So it's like, oh, yeah, they are a billionaire and they get you in a concert, but play a card, they look just like your dad. Or they open mouth kiss their dog. Or they were in prison for 10 years and won't tell you why. Like, there's always like a catch. So you're playing on what you think the person is going to think. So it's like all those sort of variables. Betrayal on the House on the Hill. When the betrayal happens, depending on how well the team has been working together and how coordinated how much the non-betrayers want to work together is going to determine how difficult the betrayal is. If someone goes, I could do it on my own and go off on their own, everybody's going to suffer and the thing's going to be way harder. So there's like all those sort of things that happen that make it harder or easier that like you can't fully account for. And I feel like that's good. That's part of what adds a lot of the fun and the humanity into a game. If that makes sense. That said, I am definitely not trying to use this as a like, well, just like a game that's not perfect, who cares? No, you should absolutely play test. You should do it to get that feeling to the absolute closest possible to what you're aiming for. And that just saying, well, nothing's perfect and shrugging it off is terrible game design. And I will absolutely defend anyone who's like, well, that's dumb. And I'll be like, you are correct. All right. Catch up on chat. Talion says, if it's a game built all around details and complicated requirements and limitations, I could see it. But if it's just one small part of a larger system, nah, that's fair. If it feels to your point, Talion, I 100% to your point. Oh my gosh, I started like 4 sentences there. To your point, Talion, I agree. If those extra things feel vestigial or like a whole different game tacked onto it, then it doesn't matter if it's balanced or fun. It doesn't feel like it should exist. That's how I feel about like some of the like skills. Again, talking about like D&D. Like I feel like the magic system, the combat system, and the skills system are all kind of different games with like a few floating similarities. Like there's a Venn diagram in the mid, like they're all here in the Venn diagram, and in the middle is you roll dice, and on the bottom between combat and skills it's roll d20, but up here in magic that's not in there. It's just other dice. Well, you might roll a d20 because you might have to roll an attack spell, or they might have to make a save, but they might not. So it's actually the center of that is just rolling dice, not even a d20. So like they do feel like separate things. And so if things feel differently in that they don't actually work together all the time, yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you, Talion. Paul says, I brought up Musk because you mentioned how you want to play a halfling, and Musk hands down is what... I want to play a halfling? And Musk is hands down one of my favorites for Adventurous Eye. Musk crack me up so hard. I agree with you. Also, they're one of my favorites. Rappy says, oh man, someone gave me a sweet vampire girlfriend in that game once. Oh, and the red flag was definitely not tailored to me. It was something like, but she can't go outside. Yeah, that's what I love about red flags. Like, can't go outside. Like, someone put a red flag on someone that wears a luchador mask all the time. Literally won't take it off. And I was like, all right, where's the downside? Like, awesome. She's a dedicated professional wrestler? Heck yeah. Sounds great. There's like, what was it? One of the other red flags was like, has an Etsy shop where they make products using human hair, like clothing using human hair. It's like, all right, so they're also an entrepreneur. So, I'm okay with this. I love red flags. It's a really fun one. Yeah, but she won't go outside is pretty funny. Especially if it's a vampire. Like, that comes with the territory. You don't expect him to go outside. Betrayal of House on the Hill is a game I want to like, but it's just not quite right. Ah, see, here we are with our differing opinions. I think that's fair. It is. It's not a game for everybody, but it's definitely a game for me, if that makes sense. And I think part of it is because it has all those unexpected complications that I love to see. Where suddenly you need an item for this thing and it's got to go to this room and you haven't found enough stuff yet. And like you haven't even found the basement of the house. It's like, yes, such chaos. I love it. Tonal, how are you doing? Oh, I made it. I catch a bit of the stream. Also, what did I walk into? Oh, we're talking about game design. So like balancing, gosh, we're talking about a lot. Basically balancing through like if you want to have magic and if you want to have different things, like how things compare to each other when they're not direct correlation. So like you have damage, something that does 3 damage versus 2 damage. Well, 3 is better than 2, but what are the other things that it can do as a 2 damage weapon that a 3 damage weapon can't do? And things about like the utility of magic and having everything work together within one system as opposed to feeling like multiple things strung together. We're talking about a lot. I started this by trying to like make this thing, and we Paul asked a very good question, and we have been off on that question ever since. But that's okay. The stuff that I have in here, the stuff that I plan is like, if nothing comes up, I'm going to do this. But if something good comes up, I'm gonna talk about it. Like, no, don't be sorry, Paul. Like, that was a great. You were asking about like how to do magic, and still have that like reaction of like childlike wonder, and how to instill that in players that are adults and have a lot of expectations and exposure to magic in games. It's a fantastic question. I love this tangent. I hope it's useful. You said it was, thanks for the advice, so I'm assuming it was helpful. But yeah, like I think it was a great topic. Like I don't have to stick to the topic on hand. I just want to make sure I have a thing, so I'm just not here, twiddling my thumbs for 2 hours going, well, I thought someone would have a question, but so it's all good. No need to be sorry. I'm glad you asked. Tally says, most of the haunts are really unbalanced in one way or another. So in my experience, the end of the game is usually disappointing. See, I feel like I've rarely had unbalanced endings. I feel like sometimes they're unbalanced. They can be unbalanced if criteria hasn't been met. So sometimes we'll have a thing where we need a key item and bring it to a key room and neither have been found. And that's super tough. And then you're probably going to lose. But I feel like most of the time, success was at least achievable, whether we hit it or not. I haven't played all of them too, so maybe we've also played different ones. Or I've had really good luck or you've had really bad luck, where for you, the things they were expecting you to have at least like 2 out of 4 things and you had 0. And in the same scenario, I always have 2 or 3 of those things. It's like, oh, see, I think it's balanced, but that's just because of circumstance. The main topic of trick weapons got 100% derailed. Oh, yeah. We just kind of went further and further down path toward a different zip code. That's how it works. Also, I really like that we're having, like, Restream hasn't crapped out on me, which is really nice, because this is like the two, Paul and Talion and Rat Beach are in 2 different spaces. And I'm able to see them together, and that's really nice. Thanks for not crapping out on me, Restream. It's very nice of you. Let's see. There are several that just don't work. In some, the trader can't interact with other players and doesn't really have any good way to inhabit them. All others' strongest player is the trader, automatically gets a weapon, goes straight to the nearest player and kills them easily. That can happen. Oh, that's my Slack. Ooh. Ooh, I just got a tasty message that I need to consider now. About what game to do next for after we beat Dante's. Ooh, I know. I just got told the game we pitched is apparently super long. Hang on, I gotta see how long it is. How long to beat? Beep. That was me censoring the name of the game. No, it says main story is 23.5 hours. Main story plus sides, 41 hours. For 2-hour streams, that's a lot of streams. I don't know. It's a tough call. Embargo breaking time. It's not embargo. It's just for what we want to play on Get Jesse to the Greek, which is now Get Jesse to the Beast, and then we'll become Get Jesse to the something else. So no embargoes, thankfully. I am working on a review, and I had to get rid of all my stuff that was up on my computer because I do a screen share on this one. I was like, you can't see what I'm working on. That would be... I guess you knowing I was working on it wouldn't be embargo busting, but like, I don't want you to see anything. I don't want you to know what I'm reviewing. So I close everything to make sure it's good. House rules. Sometimes you need those house rules. How long is redacted start to finish? Yeah, so like, that's like, oh, that's a lot of streams. You have to come up with house rules, that's true. But some games are fundamentally broken beyond what simple house rules can fix. So no risks? No risk, no reward, or just no risks? Like, don't risk it. Not sure which tonal means. Sleep aid, blanket, bedroll, etc. Well, that wouldn't be called a sleep aid. That's like melatonin or NyQuil. A sleep what like blanket, bedroll, pillow. What's that called? Bedtime item. Has anyone played those pesky humans? No, what's those pesky humans? Bed stuff? Accoutrements? Yeah, sure. Sleep accoutrements or sleeping? Let's just do sleep. sleep accoutrements. All right. Okay, so we got his footwear. We got glows. Shoots fireworks. I like that. Okay, weakens. We got heals. I don't know if I could do blunts. What's a thing that would make something blunt? Like it removes sharpness. It's a really interesting game that's flawed in a confusing way. Basically, everyone who's played it agrees it's horribly unbalanced, but nobody agree with in which direction. What, in Betrayal? That's horribly imbalanced, but nobody agrees how to balance it. I would guess it's because it's not... Oh, those pesky humans. Okay. No, I haven't... That doesn't make me sound like I want to play it. if it's everybody agrees it's poorly balanced. Are you bringing it up because we were talking about balance, or do you actually like the game? Or do you like the game and it's imbalanced? That's fair. You can do that. There are games that are fundamentally broken that I'm still like, I like it. Okay, extend, no. I need other people to play it because I need to understand where the ambiguity in the rules is. Ooh, That sounds like a challenge that I would absolutely overcommit to doing. I would love to read the rules and play that game and do a full breakdown on how I feel about it. But also, no one's paying me to do that. And I would have to stop doing other things. So, like, I can't commit. But that sounds like something I absolutely want to do. Well, if you ask killers, DVD is unbalanced in favoring survivors. If you ask survivors, DVD is unbalanced in favoring the killers. Yeah. It's so easy to see how the other side is cracked. And how everything works for them. How could they put these two loops together so close? These gens are popping everywhere. Killers too nerfed. Need help. Ah! I was playing Survivor and this happened. I can't actually say how it's killer-sided, because every time I play Survivor, I either get destroyed and go, yeah, that's fair. Or I win and go, yay, I made it out alive. I don't think it's killer-sided at all, actually. But I also play on, like, you know, I think I hit Eerie as a survivor. Like Eerie 4, because we've been playing so much. Never got that high. I don't even think I made it to gold before. So, like, maybe, like, my MMR as survivor is way too low. And that's why I think that. I mean, not to say I'm a good survivor. I still get murdered. All the time. I've only ever played with my dad. And there's a number of things that aren't definitively flavor text or actual rules. So my best theory is that there are a bunch of accidental house rules that people use because nobody fully understands the rules. Oh, that's rough. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's... Ooh. Oh, I don't like that, where you have, like... Things should be very clear if they are a rule or they are flavor text. There should not be ambiguity in that. That's... Ooh, man. Oof. Ugh. I made it to Eerie 3 Survivor this month. Highest ever been on the other side. Nice. We gotta play some more. I might put in the Discord to play some tonight. I need to take a break from the game. That's makes me motion sick. All right. So we got shoots magic. Like there are two heroes that they consider themselves the leader of any party they're in as part of their description. Does that mean you can only use one of them? Doesn't say that. Oh. Does it? Is there? I would say it's completely flavor text unless. Is there a mechanic for the leader? Like, the leader of the group always goes first. Or something like that. Or the leader of the group gets +1 to this. I don't know why I had to do it in, like, a weird, nerdy voice. So, like, does that coincide with any sort of established rule? If there is some sort of leader position mechanic or something, then absolutely that's bizarre. And if it does work, then like what do you do when you have both of them? Can you just not do one? Or like, oh, they both consider themselves the leader. There's no mechanic that applies specifically to the leader, but the two characters are the tank and the healer. I would say that that's not a conflict. If that doesn't correspond to a mechanic, then I would say you're safe in just going, that's flavor text. They both consider themselves leader. Cool, if you want to roleplay it, like you can argue with each other about who's really leading. But yeah, I don't think that should interact. That should cause a problem. Do they synergize well? Maybe not. That's Sentinels of the Multiverse. Where is it? Oh, it's behind Bonanza. A new game I got that I haven't played yet. Where it's like there are several people that are like support classes that you could absolutely play together and probably lose if you do, because they're not good enough at any one thing and they're just buffing each other, but then they're still not strong enough as that thing. Like, well, now they're an okay healer and an okay damage and an okay tank, and none of them can really do that effectively. So yeah, I would say that would not be a contradiction, but I understand that as a concern. Like, I know that's not the only example in the whole thing, so there's probably other things that do interact with stuff. There's a game, is it Peasant Buffet, that kind of does that, where it'll have language that sounds sort of like flavor text. I don't have an example, but I know what you're talking about, Talion, because the Peasant Buffet does that, where it's like, this reads like flavor text, but it actually does tie into a mechanic, and it is not clear that that's what it's supposed to be. You're not sure if whoever made the game wasn't thinking about that mechanic when they wrote this down. So I get what you're saying, and that is frustrating. And that's why game design is so important. Like language, oh my gosh. It's just, I just want to spend 6 hours with Jamate talking about the nuance and importance of language in game design, where you have things like your lexicon is incredibly important. Like if you have a mechanic like leader, you need to be aware of every time you use the word leader in flavor text and mechanical text, because it's going to refer to a thing that people are going to be expecting. And having that understanding of the language you built the game on, and then purposefully crafting the language you use based on those keywords. Oh my gosh, it's so important. Got 1940s announcer coming through there at the moment. Nice. See, this is what I mean, because it's ambiguous. It's a judgment call, which means everybody is playing a different game, and it does in little ways that are hard to pin down. I got you. We eventually gave up on the game because we couldn't make it work like it felt like it was supposed to. Thanks for the convo. The tip. See y'all some other time. Bye, Paul. see you tonight at Get Jesse to the Beast, or somewhere else. Take care. Office Supply. That's another one. But yeah, I totally feel you on that. I think there was a game we were playing that did that. I don't remember which one it was. Where, like, we just got frustrated with the, like, uncertainty of some of the rules, and we're just like, nah, this isn't really fun. So I feel you on that. Still like the premise of the game, so it's a shame. That is a shame. It's nothing worse than being excited for a thing and then not. Okay, there are things that are worse, but, you know, it stinks when you're really excited about something and then it doesn't do its thing. Returned from having cooked and eaten dinner. Delicious. Welcome back, Discordia. Actually, instead of bola, let's say entangles. Net, bola, etc. What's another thing that entangles people other than a net and a bola? Not Ebola. That tangles your insides. Shoots fire. Double jump. Slows fall. Oh, wait. These aren't... Oh, shoot. I'm doing this wrong. That's not... Slows fall is an effect. It's not a... I guess attracts animals also. God, but I want that staff that summons crows. The crowbar that summons crows. I'm gonna highlight that. What did you eat, Discordia? You always, whatever you write what you're eating in chat, it's always like, that sounds delicious. Now I want that. I had non-vegan vegan mac and cheese. And I made way too much of it, and there's still over half a pan. It's too much. It's pretty good. Red tape cannon? That's funny. like bureaucratic stuff, like red tape. It's a game where one person, says Talion, plays the Monster Lord, builds a dungeon, and controls all the monsters. 1 to 3 other players play heroes who have to explore the dungeon, collect the loot, and slay the monsters. That sounds awesome. I'm very sad. I do want to play that game now. That sounds cool. What does non-vegan vegan mac and cheese mean? It means it's a recipe for vegan mac and cheese. To which I said, yeah, this is like a healthier mac and cheese. Sounds good. But I'm not vegan, so I'm going to use real cheese instead of vegan cheese, and real butter instead of vegan butter. So it's like the sauce base is like potatoes, carrots, onion, bell pepper, and then like seasoning and stuff. And then you boil that and you blend it together, and you get like this and you get like this thick sauce that's, and then you add your cheese to it. So your base sauce, like, it has a bunch of cheese in it, but it has more of this like veggie mix. And then you put that in with your noodles, and you do some breadcrumbs on top, and then you bake it. So it's pretty good. It definitely needs more seasoning. The base recipe is not seasoned well enough. But it just has nutritional yeast for cheese flavor. I have cheese in it as well. And you're supposed to put, the recipe calls for vegan cheese, but it does have nutritional yeast in it. It has nutritional yeast and it has breadcrumbs. Chicken wraps, fajitas with chicken in barbecue sauce. Ooh, yum. That does sound good. The crowbar summons a crow that will order a drink from you and then assist you afterwards as payment. Oh, that's really funny. Wait. Produces food or beverage. So we could do that instead of attracts animal. So now we have a crow. Oh shoot! No, that's still not a thing. Dang it! No. It still works. It produces the thing that it produces food and vegetation. Okay, hang on. So the crowbar summons crow. Give drink. Does thing for you. I got a recipe book that has a vegan mac and cheese sauce like that. Nice. The sauce itself was not good. When I added the cheese, it got better. And if you add the vegan cheese, it'll get better. But like I said, it was just under-seasoned. Vegan cheese is not really ever good in my experience. I've had vegan cheese. There's a pizza place called the Mellow Mushroom. It's like a small chain. I don't know if they have anywhere you're at. There are several in North Carolina. And I have a friend who's lactose intolerant, and we split a pizza there. And so we got a vegan cheese pizza with pepperoni on it. And we very much confused the waiter because he was like, why are you ordering a vegan cheese pizza with meat on it? It's like, because can't have dairy. So that was probably the best vegan cheese I've had. It was pretty cheesy. But I cannot think of another vegan cheese I've had outside of that I thought was like, yeah, I'd eat this again. Veggie burger with bacon? Yeah, veggie burger, like a good veggie burger is delicious. So a veggie burger with bacon sounds fantastic. Because, like, I've had some good black bean burgers. That's like, oh, yeah, this is hitting it. This is giving me exactly what I want with, like, a flavor. Throw some bacon on it. Heck yeah. Like, good vegetarian food is delicious because it's well made. Like, it's seasoned. It's delicious. It's good. The vegetarian part should not be an issue. I'm still refining my own mac and cheese recipe for chasing the high of the best mac and cheese I've ever had. What's your mac and cheese recipe, Italian? I generally like vegan foods and recipes. Yeah. Spread vegan cheese, like imitation Boursin type stuff, can be pretty good. I have not tried any of that. I'll have to do that. But yeah, the vegan food. I've had some. There's a vegan chili I've made that's delicious because you're just using good stuff and seasoning it well. And then if you add sour cream to it, it's even better. And we have a friend here she's vegetarian, and so we're trying to make. They're coming over on the weekend, and we're gonna make some vegetarian pizza for her and her hubs. And we get to make our salsa pizza, which we thought was madness that a friend made for us, and now it's like possibly our favorite pizza to make at home. It's so good. Yeah, veggie burgers are good. Yeah. Generally like vegetarian and vegan food on its own merits. Yeah, if you have vegetarian or vegan food that's trying to taste good and not trying to imitate meat or imitate the texture or flavor of meat, it's generally good. When it's trying to be something it's not, it always falls apart for me. So like the vegan chili, like it doesn't have a meat product substitute. Like there's very clearly no beef or chicken or anything in it. And it's delicious. It's not trying to be. All the like, oh, what is it? Paneer? Where it's like paneer, curry or something. Where it's like you don't have meat. You have this delicious cheese, vegetarian. It's great. It's not trying to be meat. I always unvegan my vegan chili by melting cheese on top. Oh yeah, that's the best way to do it. There was a place I ate at a couple times when I worked in Boston called Mai Tai Vegan Cafe. Everything except the shrimp tasted like its meat equivalent. Really? That sounds good. There's a vegetarian vegan place around here in a DC called Shook. Fantastic. Does not matter it is vegetarian or vegan. It's just delicious. Oh yeah, love for paneer. So I'll have a moment to appreciate paneer here. Sort of weird hybrid of the last 3 different recipes. Basically, you make a bechamel, but add some onion and garlic to the butter before adding the flour and mix a roux, and then add cheese to make it a mornay. I don't know like 6 of those words in that sentence, but that sounds good because you use the term garlic and cheese. Bechamel? Bechamel? Not a bechamel? A bechamel. It's a bechamel. Bechamel. Is that French? Bechamel sauce is a white cream sauce thickened with a roux of flour and butter. Oh. That sounds delicious. Just twirl your mustache and say, "Oh." Wait. When you say it for authenticity. Mornay sauce is a bechamel sauce you've added cheese to. Oh. That sounds fantastic. I'm super into this. It's 2 o'clock. I have to leave. I made a small amount of progress, and we talked about very important stuff. So you know what? It's a win. It's a win, everybody. Mark it on the calendar. We have a win. Save. I outraid, so I guess I just hit stop. Thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. All like 4 of you here right now. Thanks. Feels weird. Was off for a whole week. White cream sauce, add cheddar. Ooh, Monterey Jack, yeah. Blue cheese. And then a crust of bread. Crumbs. Ooh, Parmesan bacon. It sounds fantastic. Add mac cheese sauce in item. List. We've come full circle. Well, we do have produces food or beverage. So I think we made it there. Just make it cheese-based and we're good. Cheese-based food or beverage. Always love TTRPG streams when they go way off topic. Well, good, because I think we've stayed on topic like a single hand's worth of times. Beautiful indeed. All right. Everybody, you're the best. I mean it. Thank you. I hope you have a great one. I'm going to be streaming Get Jesse the Beast tonight on Escapist. Probably not beating it. I don't know. And then Blight and I are going to continue with our Divinity 2 stream tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. I've been wanting to co-op that game. So I'm very excited to play that with him. and that we've done it once. He's really liking it. That's cool. I'm really liking it. We killed the Red Prince. And by we, I mean he killed the Red Prince. So that's a whole playable character that doesn't exist anymore in the game. So we'll see what happens. All right. Take care, everybody. All right. I hope I see you around. And if I don't see you around, then I hope you enjoy doing whatever it is you are doing. Cheers. Bye.